Welcome on in. First round fantasy. It's a thing. It's real. Gentlemen, we're here. We're in person. Jacob, how does it feel being a YouTube channel? Well, that's not fair to say. Gio, okay, fine. We got to be honest now. Let's just get it all out because it's new to us. The scenery. Gio's our producer today. He's making sure he can hear us okay. He says we're good to go. We're here. We're in person. That's producer Gio. You've seen him on the show before. I got Jacob Bartley right here. We have legs. We have arms. I'm a lot thicker than I thought in person. It's weird because I'm seeing you in person and we see each other in person outside the podcast all the time. But on camera, looking at that right now, I just look a lot thicker. Like I want to be behind my regular seat where I look skinnier and
you gotta scoot in, man. It just looks like here I can scoot over too. Oh yeah,
should I scoot in a little bit? Oh yeah.
See there, he looks better. That's why. Were you gonna ask me how it feels to have a YouTube channel hit 500 subscribers?
Yeah, but you're already part of a YouTube channel that's amassed over 5,000 subscribers. Shout out to Apocalypse over there.
2 YouTube channels in my lifetime to hit 500 subscribers. It feels amazing.
So for me, technically, it's my cherry being popped here because Jacob's already been through this before, but I have not. So yes, I wanted to turn the question to me because it's about me right now. And it feels
how does it feel?
It feels good, man. It feels 500 subscribers.
I'll tell you guys this. That was Gabe's goal this year.
I almost got emotional right there. I almost did.
Gabe's goal going into this season was to reach 500 subscribers, and we did it with what? How many weeks left? We got 3 more regular weeks left and
3 weeks of playoffs.
3 weeks of playoffs. So we did it. I mean, unless the people watching are very annoyed with us right now and like 5 of them unsubscribe.
No, they wouldn't do that. We did lose a couple of subscribers over the last couple of minutes.
We just lost our banner.
This is what live and in person is all about. We love it.
Just continue, Gabe. I will
certainly continue. Again,
but it's all good.
Welcome to the first round fantasy podcast. Your first choice for second round content. Be sure to look for us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at First Round Fantasy. You can also find us here, where you're looking at our faces on YouTube or anywhere else you listen to your podcast, most notably Spotify or Apple Premium. It is week 12. We have amassed 500 subscribers. We're doing it live today. It's awesome. Clearly, you can see the pandemonium behind us. We really know what we're doing here. We're some of the best to do it. And like I said, we also got producer Gio in the chat today. He's also in the house. He was gracious enough to lend us his beautiful pad to record this special monumental episode, and we couldn't be more grateful to him. Speaking of, Johnny Quest in the chat. Yeah, buddy, you already know it, man. Thanks for coming out today. Congrats, guys. Great start. It's taken us some time, clearly, but we're here. We did it, and we're spending it together. I have my water. Jacob has some sort of weird beverage over there.
I'm penetrating Gio's wall.
When he's ready, we'll cheers to that. So, Johnny, make sure you raise a glass. Gio, producer, already in the chat. He's saying Melvin Gordon on the block.
Melvin Gordon. I would love to trade for Melvin Gordon right now. I like the way he handles business.
In a dynasty league? Oh, you're just being funny.
I'm just being funny. I wouldn't.
Look.
Will's up on Javonte Williams next year.
Sure.
But that's another conversation.
This
is an energy drink. Just trying to, get a little boost in.
So my wife tells me that we always have to look in the eyes when you do a cheers.
Really?
Or else it means nothing. So if you cheers and you're not looking people in the eyes, it doesn't mean anything.
You learn something new every day.
You do. Are you ready? Oh, a Niners Cup? Never mind. We're not going to be cheering today. But
San Francisco 49ers.
Can you at least turn it the other way? So I don't have to don't.
Cheers.
There we go. And in the eyes, dude. Cheers. Don't be creepy like that. Anyways.
We're drinking water and energy drink to celebrate, but I'm sure we'll have an alcoholic beverage later.
We do it big. We do it in style around here. It's the only thing we got. Yes, we're going to get to all the news in a little bit, just like Zach Wilson. We're going to talk about there's another quarterback on the brinks right now. Oh, Davis Mills in Houston. We're going to get to those guys in a little bit. But first, we got to get to our dark horses because they always come up so much on the show that, we're going to get to them eventually. So we like to get to them right away. We got a comment from JM. Congrats, gentlemen. Keep up the good work. Need a late QB pickup option over Stafford for a backup. Ooh, good. I'd lean probably Trevor Lawrence. What about you?
I mean, that's not a bad pickup right now. You got
if you've been rocking
look
with
at
Matthew Stafford for the last
waiver wire,
dude, if you've been rocking with Matthew Stafford all this time and you're in playoff contention,
maybe
good for you.
Taylor Heineke,
Atlanta. Mike White. He's going to be the Jets starting quarterback this week. They take on the Bears. Suspect defense, to say the best. I mean, a team that's literally trying to tank. They traded away all their defensive pieces. Mike White might be a guy you can grab. I don't know of any other quarterbacks that are on the waiver wire off the top of my head.
You got if Trevor Lawrence or Taylor Heineke. I think those are some good bets.
Dude, you wouldn't start Mike White? The guy was on fire.
Would. I mean, I would consider it. It depends. There's other options too.
There are. Of course, I'm looking at the one league where there's literally no quarterbacks available. But let's look at a reasonable league. I just want to help out JM here. Let's see. Geno Smith against Las Vegas. He's probably my number one priority. He's on the waiver wire in our Pick 6 league. Taylor Heineke, like Jacob said, I would avoid Derek Carr at all cost. Yeah. Marcus Mariota, avoid. Jared Goff, avoid. Matt Ryan, probably avoid. Yeah. Geno Smith out there, I'm literally telling you right now, Mike White is a guy that I would gun for. So Heineke screwed me, and no, just need a decent backup. Heineke is your decent backup, JM. I don't know what you want us to tell us. If he screwed you, then you might as well roll with Stafford. But Stafford, I think, is out again this week.
Is Trevor Lawrence available in your league? Ask yourself that.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd go with Geno Smith if he's available. If he's not, I'm going Mike White, dude. I'm going Mike White. Hey, Garrett Wilson, stock.
He had some good games last year. I remember that.
He did.
Mike White, yeah.
He did. And maybe Elijah Moore, stock up. I don't know. I just
Michael Carter.
Was it Shaw? Shout out to Shaw in our Dynasty League chat. Didn't he send out the statistics between Jamarcus Russell, former Raiders QB a number of years ago, and then Zach Wilson's stats over their first 2 seasons? And they're like identical, as if to say, like, hey, Zach Wilson's just as bad as Jamarcus Russell.
How worse can it get? He's literally inactive. Joe Flacco's the backup. And Mike White names the starter. Joe Flacco's the backup. Joe Flacco's like twice his age, and he's the backup. And Zach Wilson is inactive. So obviously, look, they asked him, what did they say? They asked him if he blames the defense or something, or if he it wasn't that. They asked him if it was his fault, basically, and opposed to the defenses, and he said no. So you know how it goes. If you're a quarterback in the NFL, you always blame yourself. No, even if it's not your fault, you just always say it's on me. I'm the leader of the team. It's on me. So he didn't do that.
He didn't do it. He didn't take blame. He didn't take ownership like a true quarterback one would. And for that, he's done in the NFL.
Faster than Sam Darnold was done with the Jets.
No, really? Yeah, he got a number of seasons. He got like 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Almost all of his rookie contract.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sad. This may not be the end of Zach Wilson, but for fantasy, it's clearly a bump. Look at us. We said we weren't going to talk about it until after we talked about our dark horses, and here we are talking about it.
There it is. We talked about it.
Yeah, we might touch on it a little bit more. JM says hi. He loves it. Thanks, gentlemen. 500 more. Yes, man. We appreciate you. Thanks for coming out. Let's get into it, Jacob. Dark Horses live. I get to look at your reaction, your beautiful face. It's kind of weird that you keep looking at me. I don't know. I don't know how to handle this situation.
I mean, it's great. One thing we always talk about, and Gio can attest to this, in-person shows are always so much better. There's so much more energy, and it's just, I would do every podcast that I do in person if I could, but it's just, obviously, logistically, it doesn't make sense most of the time. You live over an hour away. But that's okay. One time a season, we're good for that, right?
Yeah. I also live in the world's tiniest home, so it just doesn't make sense.
Maybe we're on season 3 of First Round Fantasy. 3 years to get to 500 subscribers. Nice. Maybe year 4, more in-person shows.
Year 4. Who says we're going to rule them out in year 3, dude? We still got – look, we're both in the education field. So it just so happened that all of this kind of correlated into a beautiful moment where we were both on Thanksgiving break. We hit 500 subscribers. We're here to have some fun. We're in person. We might have another one around Christmas time. That's right around fantasy playoffs.
Your favorite viewers tuning in.
Dude, not only is he my favorite viewer, I literally think he should apply to ESPN, to CBS, to something. And he didn't even say hi to us. Get that comment off.
Oh, wait. I mean, he is a Gio fan, though. Hey,
That's
Gio
fair.
and Johnny.
Gio, get up here. Get up here, Gio.
Says, what up, Gabe and Jacob?
This is our number one viewer. It's our 500 subscriber show, and he's ignoring us. Get over here, dude. Get over here and say hi to Star Drew right now. We let all of our viewers have fun. What's up, Star Drew? How you doing? We can't wait for your hot takes today. And welcome to the chat, producer Gio. Look at that, 500.
What's up?
And he's a big part of it too. Guys that just tune in, help us out, give us their hot takes, just like Melvin Gordon on the block. You know, some don't always have to be as hot as others. But we appreciate him and so many others that have helped us get to this point. And like JM said earlier, 500 more to come. So, Star Drew, keep it coming in the chat, man. We want to hear all the hot takes, all the scores, all the over-unders this week. But while you think about them, we're getting into our dark horses this week. And you ready to get talking?
Yes.
I've been talking so much. I'm pumped, dude. It's weird being in person. My adrenaline is through the roof right now. I'm going to lend it over to you. Week 12, Jacob. Week 12. 3 weeks until playoffs. Who is your dark horse for week 12 of the fantasy football season?
Yeah, so I'm trying to stay true to what the dark horses are supposed to be. And I mean, sometimes they fluctuate from this, but I want like somebody that maybe a lot of people aren't considering starting. And I'm saying you can look at them as your flex option this week. And that is Elijah Mitchell of the San Francisco 49ers.
You dare put the glass
It's my
down.
first one. It's my first Fool's Gold or dark horse in person.
That's fair.
RIP to Fool's Gold. We didn't even talk about that yet. It's our first one in person. So I got to go with a San Francisco 49er. But look, I did not see this coming. So he returns from injury, right? And obviously a lot plays into this. Jeff Wilson Jr. is traded to Miami.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Christian McCaffrey comes in. You think you trade for Christian McCaffrey and he's going to get all the touches. Not necessarily. Elijah Mitchell comes in and he gets 18 carries. Like 5 of those were in the same play in the red zone. So I'll say like 13 carries for 89 yards and then 9 carries for 59 yards. And if you're a CMC manager, you might be like, no, I don't want that. I don't mind it as a CMC manager, to be honest. I don't want CMC to get injured. So I think this is totally fine from that standpoint. And it also means that you can consider Elijah Mitchell as a flex option. I think, look, obviously the Niners are very hot right now. They're playing very well. It's not like they're not beating the best teams out there, but they're playing really well, and they got a super high-powered offense. What does that mean? They're going to put up points. What does that mean? They're going to be trying to run the clock out late in games. Are you going to use CMC to do that? Not necessarily. I think they're going to use Elijah Mitchell. So it's a crazy thing. Like after Christian McCaffrey was traded there, you'd think, okay, any other running back there is just a handcuff. But that's not the case. We've seen it 2 weeks in a row. I think that's going to continue this week here. So I'm going with Elijah Mitchell as my dark horse for week 12.
Who would have thought? I am disappointed in the fact that the Niners spent all that capital on CMC. I'm currently sitting in a home where there are 2, obviously Niner fans in attendance. But no, they split the workload. I don't think they're going to give Christian McCaffrey those hard goal line opportunities. I think they're going to be more, what's the word? Would you say
cautious?
Yeah, cautious, but also like, I just think they're going to be more sophisticated with handling Christian McCaffrey around the red zone. They're going to draw more sophisticated plays, more ways to kind of get him out in the open space, even though there's minimal space around the red zone. But who's going to get those in between the tackles, in between the trenches, those valuable touches in the goal line? I think that could also favor Elijah Mitchell. So for those reasons and for those reasons alone, I like the pick.
And I mean, look, CMC is definitely going to get the majority of the passing work. Elijah Mitchell will be lucky to see 1 target a game, even if that. And then, like you said, I won't be surprised if Christian McCaffrey has more receiving touchdowns as a 49er this year opposed to rushing touchdowns. And I could see Elijah Mitchell having more rushing touchdowns for the rest of the season. So, again, that just goes to show, I think he's definitely like, look, you're not starting him over a guy who is a starting running back on another team for the most part, but you need that last desperation flex. I know we have no bye weeks this week, but still, I think you can consider him.
Which is weird, by the way. Why do we have no bye weeks? Then you're all of a sudden just going to throw a bye week at us in week 14?
I think it's because if they had bye weeks, there would be barely any games on Sunday because there's already 3 games on Thursday.
That's fair, but we've already had that once this year when there were like 6 teams on bye, and then the Sunday schedule had 3 games altogether?
I just realized we're going to have to cut clips out, like this, which is going to be interesting. It doesn't really change anything.
It's going to be beautiful. Don't worry about it. One last thing on Elijah Mitchell. I like it, and the only reason why I would probably say something against it is because you're probably betting on him falling in the end zone, even though that's the narrative we're trying to paint here is that he's going to get those dirty touches around the goal line. I don't know why they're called dirty touches, but
look, they play New Orleans. New Orleans,
they're stingy.
Yeah,
they're stingy.
But I think the Niners are going to be up in this game, and they're going to use Elijah a lot.
Sure,
that's why.
If they're up, I do think that they would use Elijah Mitchell a lot. And the only other thing is if it's a competitive game, it strays away from that because there's just so many options. There.
If we were playing the Chiefs again, for example, I would not be looking at Elijah Mitchell at all. But for this game, I am.
Well, there you have it. Week 12 in person, 500 subscribers. Week 12, Jacob Bartley's dark horse of the week, Elijah Mitchell, running back for the San Francisco 49ers. You're right. We're going to have to clip. Now you're making me think about it. I feel weird because you're looking at me and talking to me.
It literally doesn't change anything.
It doesn't change anything.
We're just still figuring this out.
We're just still figuring this out. Let's get to comments really quick before we get to my dark horse. I don't know what Sarju meant by this. Carolina player, dark horse? Sure, I guess. I don't know. It's not coming from me, and it wasn't Jacob's. But we love you all the more for it, Starju.
It means Deontay Foreman, but everyone's starting him, right?
No, I'm not starting him this week, actually. Because
who are they playing?
No, I have to look at my fantasy lineup. I literally took him out.
So he might have been here. If we still did Fool's Gold, he might have been a Fool's Gold.
I picked up Latavius Murray off the waiver wire. I'm starting Latavius Murray over Deontay Foreman. We'll get into our rankings in a little bit here. Let's get to my dark horse for week 12 of the fantasy football season, and that is none other than someone who I've been highly touting over the last few weeks in disgust of Jacob. Now, obviously, he's going to come out and say he's not completely down on this guy, but I'm painting the narrative that he is. And that is Christian Watson, wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. Listen, there's something in life, and it's this. You ride the hot hand. You are riding the hot hand of Christian Watson this week as they go into Philadelphia to take on a very favorable but stingy Philadelphia defense. And what I mean by that is Darius Slay is one of the best cornerbacks in the league. He's going to be covering Allen Lazard for the most part. Who does that leave opportunities for? None other than the wide receiver 2 for the Green Bay Packers, Christian Watson. Stop looking at me, Jacob. It just feels so weird. I just feel like I have eyes all over me.
How do you think that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman feel? That's how we are right now.
Yeah.
Man. You got to maintain, or I got to look at the camera and smile.
I thought I could do that my whole life. I thought I could
now,
do journaling.
Now you're not sure?
No, this is not for me. I don't like people looking at me like this.
I guess I can then.
I guess you're more cut out for it. Anyways, I love Christian Watson this week. I currently have him, and we're going to get into it. We're going to get into our rankings because oftentimes when we clip up these videos and we post them out there and we get all these wonderful comments and we have you guys to appreciate that for it, I get these weird scenarios where you're like, oh, so you're saying I should start this guy over Christian Watson? And no, I'm not saying that. If you look at my rankings this week, which again, I said we will in just a little bit, I have him currently as a wide receiver 28. So there are 27 other guys that I like more than Christian Watson. I think it puts him into a nice flex play range this week. Yes, the news came out that Aaron Rodgers has the broken thumb. I don't think it's his throwing hand. I would like confirmation on that. We'll look it up in a minute here. But I love his usage around the goal line. In the last 2 weeks, he leads the NFL in red zone targets. That's 4. And you might be thinking, well, wait, he had 3 touchdowns in one game. But in week of 10, those were 2 bombs. So technically those weren't red zone targets. But we saw even last week, those targets that he got around the goal line were substantial. Not only that, one thing I really did love about that game, though, is that his first goal line target was literally a screen pass 5 yards out, and he absolutely muffed it. Touched his hands. He did this weird, awkward contortion. Nobody was even guarding him, and he just dropped the ball and fell flat on his face. It was the weirdest thing. The very next play, runs a slant right across the end zone from side to side, and Rodgers finds him. It shows me that even though he's capable of dropping passes, because we've seen that. We've seen him drop a number of passes so far. But even knowing that he's making mistakes, Aaron Rodgers still believes in him. And we saw that 2 more times in that game, and that resulted in 2 touchdowns. Was it the 3 touchdown performance that we saw 2 weeks prior? No, but it was 2 touchdown performances. It was a 2 touchdown performance. And guess what? This week, can we get a 1 touchdown performance? Like, is it a regression? Maybe. What I also like is that we saw his usage really ramp up in the fourth quarter when the game was on the line, when the Green Bay Packers were making their push to get back into things. It wasn't Allen Lazard. It was Christian Watson. He saw 3 targets in the fourth quarter alone, all on that last drive. And I just think that means Aaron Rodgers really is leaning on him. He's leaning on his ability to stretch the field, to get the ball downfield. And he's 6'2", 6'3", so he's leaning on that presence in the end zone as well. All of those paint a narrative that shows that his input is here to stay. His production is here to stay, although minimal. He saw 8 targets in that game where he caught the 3 bombs. He only saw 5 targets last week. But if those targets are end zone targets, then I'm counting on one of those to at least be a touchdown. And I think that can happen. His sleeper projection currently right now is 11 fantasy points. I think he can easily buff that. I'm going 13 or more. That's a fine flex play. Jacob, I'll let you have your thoughts while I go ahead and talk about some guys that are going to be, better options. Or why do I always mess that up? Even when we're live, how do I mess it up? But I'm going to look at some guys that I think are
comparable, but
in far less favorable matchups as opposed to Christian Watson.
I see. No, look, Gabe and I had some behind-the-scenes debates about Christian Watson and Kadarius Toney. Obviously, that's no longer a debate anymore. Kadarius Toney's injured. Like, we don't know if he's even going to play this week. That's fine. But I was never been a Christian Watson hater. I actually really believed in him coming into dynasty drafts. I liked the guy. I just didn't know how much longer Aaron Rodgers was going to play. But he's looking to be proving that he was a good pick for them in the second round of the NFL draft. And Aaron Rodgers did say something recently. I don't know the exact quote, but he said that what they were expecting from a guy like Christian Watson at the beginning of the season, they're getting now. And you got to remember, this guy faced multiple injuries throughout this season and multiple times. So, and he came back and played, and he got injured again and came back and played. And now he's finally looking like he's going to stay healthy. And we're seeing what the result of him having some time to build some chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. And then the fact that he went back to him after that dropped, I think it was a touchdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dropped touchdown. And he went back to him multiple times. And that just shows like, hey, you don't see Aaron Rodgers, have that amount of trust in a first-year player right away that quickly. Even with Devontae Adams, it took him a few years to build chemistry. So I think Aaron Rodgers knows he doesn't have all the time in the world. So he needs to speed that process up. And I think we're seeing the result of that. So great call on Christian Watson. I think he's viable for a good game as long as he stays healthy for the rest of the season.
Fair enough. Good points. I wanted to talk about some guys that I would play him over. Did I say it right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think I did. I like him better than Darius Slayton this week. Tyler Boyd, his counterpart, Allen Lazard. I like him better than Cortland Sutton, wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. Joshua Palmer, he's been balling out, but if Mike Williams comes back and he's healthy this week, I like him better than I like him better than Joshua Palmer. I probably wouldn't go as far as like that guys that I kind of have in this range, but I think those are a fair number of choices of guys who I'd rather sit and start Christian Watson over this week. And I'm glad that you're kind of along for the ride. I thought you were going to disagree with that. I know we had some distaste there, some disagreements between Toney and Christian Watson. It hasn't panned out for Kadarius Toney. It looks like it's panning out for Christian Watson. So you need to ride the wave. And I'm telling you to ride the wave this week. Week 12, dark horse of the week, Christian Watson, wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. Let's get some comments here, Jacob.
We got Ty Coop in the house.
Ty Coop. I don't have the shirt on today.
Good buddy.
But shout out to Tyler Cooper.
And he says the goats are back. I think he's talking about us.
Is he talking about us?
Yeah.
Not only are we back, but we're in style, dude.
I hope he's talking about us.
I don't know. I got to get used to like having people. I feel like I'm in a studio right now because I feel like production's doing stuff behind us.
What up, Gabe and Jacob?
Cool.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, and shout out to Facebook Gaming, Coach Coop. Go find him on there. You got any dubs lately, man? I got the shirt. I will say, I've mentioned this before, but anyone new who's listening today, the hashtag listen to Coach, it's a thing, man. People are drawn to that shirt.
So
keep pumping them out.
are you
dude.
saying
it's
we
a
need
great
to do
idea.
one that says hashtag second round advice?
Let's go. Let's get it here today. We're making it. It's in
Yep.
production. We're gonna get producers on that right away. Hashtag second round advice, first round fantasy, second round advice. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see. JM here. He says Treylon Burks, 10 fluke
Tennessee.
last week. Oh, Tennessee.
Treylon Burks of the Tennessee Titans.
Was he a fluke last week or a viable flex option?
Can I start this one?
Please. I'm gonna look up who he plays.
I'm gonna say, all right. So they just
7
asked,
for 111 last week, by the way.
yes, and I know because I actually started him last week in a league, which was crazy because it was I had a lot of bye weeks, and it was just one of those. My last spot, I had nobody else, so I threw him in.
Sure.
I'm not giving myself credit for that. It was a last resort play.
No, you give your credit for everything.
But
you
I
deserve.
started Treylon Burks in the league last week, and it was beautiful. Love to see it. I think he is going to be a viable flex option going forward. This man coming into dynasty drafts this year, a lot of people had him as their number one rookie wide receiver. Not because he's more talented than all the other guys. You know, you can take your pick, Drake London, him, Garrett Wilson. But it was because he was supposed to get the most volume out of all of them.
Sure.
Because Tennessee had no wide receivers. We thought Robert Woods was going to be better than he is. Where's he been? Where's Robert Woods been? So that being said, Treylon Burks is the only guy there that you can even consider starting. And now that Ryan Tannehill's back and playing healthy, I trust him a lot more to get these pass catchers involved. And by pass catchers, I mean Treylon Burks, Derrick Henry, and maybe is Dontre Hilliard? Is he still healthy?
He caught a touchdown last week.
Yeah, so those three. That's what I mean by Tennessee pass catchers, and that's it. So I do believe as long as he stays healthy, and you say that about every player, Treylon Burks, man, I'm liking him. And then they also go on to ask over Garrett Wilson of the Jets. No.
I'm going to say no. You're starting Garrett Wilson with the news that Mike White is starting. We talked about it at the top of the podcast. You are starting Garrett Wilson this week. We've seen Mike Wilson in the past be good for fantasy wide receivers in New York. I think you ride that wave. You ride that momentum. Sorry, Zach Wilson.
Yeah, but so how do you feel about Treylon Burks?
I enjoy him. I was looking at him this week in some of the rankings, and I had him right here. I like him better than Brandon Cooks this week, Darnell Mooney, Allen Robinson, if they have Bryce Perkins at the helm, Adam Thielen, Drake London, Donovan Peoples-Jones. There's a slew of people I like over him this week, and it seems like those are type of people that are kind of in that flex consideration. So yeah, I don't mind them at all. They play Cincy, not the best matchup, not the worst. They're a middle of the pack defense, but if I'm deciding between Treylon Burks and Garrett Wilson, I'm starting Garrett Wilson this week.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, hey, JM, thank you again for the question, dude. We appreciate it. Yeah, dude, Garrett Wilson. Also, some breaking news to input. We speculated it at the top. We kind of knew it was going to be a thing. Now it's confirmed. Davis Mills, he is not starting this week as they go on to take on Miami. We had just heard some shouts in the background. Yeah, that's producer Gio just riding another win with the Miami Dolphins. They look to play Kyle Allen this week, which for fantasy, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Like, Kyle Allen, he's not the best. I think he's a step up, though, from Davis Mills. So guys like Nico Collins, Brandon Cooks. Jacob made the comment the other day that Brandon Cooks is kind of having like a Michael Thomas revelation.
Yeah.
You know how we didn't see Michael Thomas for like 2 years because of all those weird, like, I'm injured, I hate my teammates.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like a race issue. We're not going to get into all that. But Brandon Cooks is also kind of having an epiphany of emotions. And so things just aren't going well. But Nico Collins, I think this is a bump for him. He was a guy that I wanted to talk about when we were just talking about Treylon Burks, but I thought, wait, let's hear this David Mills news. And now it looks like it's a thing. So Kyle Allen starting for the Houston Texans. You're not starting Kyle Allen, but I think I can feel a little bit more comfortable about a guy like Nico Collins.
I mean, to me, it's kind of a lateral move, to be honest. I mean, obviously, David Mills hasn't been playing well, so
he's
that's
a capable backup.
Making the move. I do like the idea that, you know, Kyle Allen has something to prove, right? Mm-hmm. So I think he's going to come in with, with a lot of high hopes, and maybe he'll deliver. But I like Nico Collins anyway, honestly, either way.
Fair enough. I'll take it. Nico Collins, considerable. Maybe we'll get into him. Let's get to some more comments, though. It's funny. We're doing this live stream. It's just cool, man. It's just cool. What game does anybody want to pick? So now we have to ask for your advice. I liked it better when you just told us.
Yeah, so like Star Drew became like the expert now.
Now let's see.
Yeah,
I got a good one. I got a good one for you this week. I'm going all the way up to the top. I'm going Thanksgiving Day, Detroit Lions against the Buffalo Bills in Detroit. Star Drew, give us your predictions. What do you think about that? Tyler Cooper says Mike White is going to ball out. Yeah, dude. I think he is too. I really do. He also says he drafted Watson. He just couldn't wait for him for some reason. Did you drop him?
I think that's a refer to our Dynasty League, Die Hard Dynasty League. You did. And so this is just ironic. So, yeah, you dropped him, Ty Coop, and then this man over here snatched him up.
What can I say? It just happens sometimes. And also, I was very desperate for wide receivers in that Dynasty League, and now all of a sudden I just feel like I have the best wide receiving corps in all the league. I mean, I had Jefferson and Chase. I'm not trying to toot my horn, but I had no depth. And now I got guys like Watson to build around. So I feel pretty confident in that. Bengals and Titans, Chargers, Cardinals, Raiders, Seahawks could all be potential shootouts this week.
Telling us what games are going to be high-scoring shootouts.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure Star Drew's batting like 900 on these guesses here.
Bro, go to Vegas. Go to Vegas.
He keeps hitting them every week. I don't even remember him getting one wrong so far, but I think maybe he must have got one wrong.
He's literally always right, and he lets me know about it in like the most random ways. He'll just write in the comments of one of the videos and be like, hey, it's like a Gus Edwards clip. And he's like, hey, told you Derek Carr was going to ball this week. I'm like, wait, what? Hey, we appreciate it.
At least it's like, it's all positive and love, not like some of the comments we get. Like, somebody keeps commenting on our stuff and saying this aged well. Like, are they talking crap? Like, have you seen those?
Go on to any YouTube channel. Any fantasy football is such a revolving door of content, bro. Of course, there are going to be a handful of things that pan out and a handful of things that don't age well. We're just here to talk about it, guys. Stop being so
find
salty.
my AJ Dillon clip for my ride or die, and write. This aged well, please. I deserve that.
Star Drew probably will do it. Maybe I'll do it. We'll just comment under the first round fantasy.
You remember what name? I know who your ride or die was. Do you remember who it was?
Mike Williams, bro. And he's panned out. He's just been injured.
You know, all right, let me just give me like 30 seconds right here real quick. Okay.
Let's hear it.
And you even told me this earlier in the year. Like I liked Ramondre Stevenson so much, you thought that I chose Ramondre Stevenson as my ride or die.
He was my first choice.
I'm sorry, Ramondre. I should have went with my gut. I should have went with you, and you're proving me wrong. So shout out to Ramondre Stevenson.
Shout out to Ramondre Stevenson. Shout out to Damian Harris for losing your job. But yeah, Ramondre Stevenson could have been a guy for you. He's a guy. You had him in so many places, though. Like you have him.
So exactly. So I still get
still
get to benefit from that.
You have more Ramondre Stevenson shares than you do of AJ Dillon shares. I don't get that.
So and I had more Ramondre Stevenson shares. I almost had him on every single team except Die Hard Dynasty, where you had him, and you almost traded him to me too multiple times. But I did split up my Ramondre Stevenson shares. Gio knows he got him from me in one league. So yeah, I spread the love around. You know.
Well, I'm glad. Make sure it's good love. I don't know what that means. Let's get to some more comments here really quick. Yes, we're gonna get to those in just a second. Let's scroll down here. Hillard is very healthy. Sure, Tyler, we appreciate that. And he also wanted to clarify, it's hashtag listen to coach. Yeah, dude, the shirt's the best.
What did you say? Listen to the coach or something?
Listen to the coach. I don't know, but I have the
Coach
shirt.
Coop.
I love wearing it out. It's a total people gravitate towards it. It's just a good idea. And now we're coming out with one today on the show. We just decided, what is it? Hashtag second round advice.
Second round advice, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, guys, we're doing something a little different today. We are going to show you, we're going to let you inside our secret world. We've never done this before. We do it often. But today it's not behind the scenes anymore. It's right in front of your face. We're talking about our running back and wide receiver rankings this week. We're not going to spend too much time talking about them, but we do want to show them to you and just kind of give you our thought process about some of our start-sit decisions. And when we look at these positions specifically, we're doing the top 30 running backs and the top 30 wide receivers. So essentially, when you look at this, I mentioned earlier, Christian Watson this week, wide receiver 28. Clearly, that's towards the bottom of the pack, but that puts him in a wide receiver 3 range. If you're playing in 10-man leagues, that puts him as a valuable flex play. If you're playing in shallower leagues than that, and also a viable flex play. Like I just said, I don't know why I repeated myself, but let's kind of lead you into that world. I'm going to go ahead. Do you want to do the honors? Do you want me to? I don't know how. Or we can just talk about them, or do you want to show them?
The rankings?
This is new to us. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me just keep going there. I'll bring them up. And I will say, so long story short, when it comes, we're going to talk about our wide receiver rankings first, or our
let's do wide receiver rankings first.
All right. Let's do wide receiver rankings first. So we got them all here. We kind of did these separately, so the format isn't necessarily exactly the way we want, but who cares?
It's fine. We'll look for some. We'll look for some disagreements and see what we can kind of bring up and talk about. But we just thought it was interesting. We wanted to kind of show you guys, and we want to know if you want more of it. We actually put out our first poll because we had community polls. So thanks. Now we technically have a community as deemed by YouTube, so we get to actually talk about that. That's pretty dope. And because of that, one of the first polls we put out was, what do you want to see more of? Well, thanks to the 7 of you who voted, I thought we had a bigger community than that. Just kidding. You guys are all busy. You have tons of lives. I get that. Don't want to vote on a poll. But anyways, it was that you guys wanted to see more rankings. So, yeah, let's talk about some rankings right now. Currently, we both have Tyreek Hill number 1 this week. We're not going to do too much discussion at the top. I think the real discussion can be had as we kind of move further down this list. Let's just see. You can see on my side, I kind of color code it in red. Guys that I have in red are people that I've moved down previously from the week before. People who are in green basically means that I've moved them up over the last week's performance, or just because I like their matchup better this week. There's obviously a number of factors when you kind of contribute to that. But as we look, I don't know.
So I see. Is there anything in our top 12 here that really stands out on your end or my end? Would you say so?
Well, I see that you got no love for Amari Cooper this week, who takes on Tampa Bay. I have him at 12. You have him down here at 19. I get it. Tampa Bay has a really outstanding defense. Their trio of cornerbacks that they run out there, the platoon as you'll call them, have been tremendous this year. But also kind of just lately, Tampa Bay's been susceptible. Mm-hmm. And I think Amari Cooper being that number 1 option, he's bound to have a good day. I have him here as a borderline wide receiver 1. Kind of looking at it now, I might even rank Metcalf over him, maybe Mike Evans, which would fall back to 14. But I still like him in that range. I'm curious as to kind of your thoughts on him this week. Is it because of that Tampa Bay defense? Are they tough? Maybe you don't have a lot of love for –
I mean, no, I actually love Amari Cooper. I don't know where all the hate was for him coming into this year. I heard the arguments, but I'm saying like he's the most talented – player, not other than Nick Chubb. Sorry, Nick Chubb. He's the most talented wide receiver or pass catcher, whatever you want to say, on that Browns team. And I was like, nobody's going to be ahead of him. Mm-hmm. And he's been proving people wrong all year. And then don't forget Deshaun Watson's coming back.
That's true.
Maybe he might be rusty at first, but I think in the long run, Deshaun Watson throwing to Amari Cooper, like that's going to be – since he lost DeAndre Hopkins, he never really had that number 1 guy. I mean, Will Fuller had – a great year with him, but we saw what happened with that. So, like, I'm saying Amari Cooper is one of the best players that Watson's ever had the pleasure of playing with.
Sure.
He's going to be throwing to him. I know that the Browns run a lot, but no, I do like Cooper. But this week, there's nothing wrong with Cooper yet. It's a tough matchup, but
it's a tough matchup.
I like a lot of the matchups above him. Like, for example, I have DK Metcalf at number 11, and I have Tyler Lockett at number 15. I think they're both going to have great days against the Las Vegas Raiders, who are very friendly to wide receivers. So things like that. And I even have, I don't have both Bucks pass catchers above him, but I mean, I do have a guy like Mike Evans above him. I think Debo, a lot of people are a lot lower on Debo than I am. He doesn't have as much volume as he used to, obviously. So I just think I like a lot of other players more than Amari Cooper this week, but that's nothing wrong with him.
No, and that's usually what it comes down to. It comes down to preference. Again, when you talk about these top 10, these top 12 guys, these borderline wide receiver 1 guys, that's the discussion that often is had. Like, you're not going to not start these guys. It's just, hey, I think this guy has a better matchup. I think he's going to have more opportunity. Therefore, it's going to relate and correlate to more fantasy production. We did have a comment in the chat. It was Star Drew. He said, you have Waddle over CD Lamb this week? Yes, because a guy like Tua Tagovailoa, a guy like Tua Tagovailoa is supporting 2 top 5 wide receivers in terms of yardage on the year, being Tyreek Hill, who's the wide receiver 1, and Jalen Waddle, who's the wide receiver 5 on the year in terms of yardage.
Well, I think Star Drew's giving me crap for having Lamb over Waddle.
Oh, because I do have him ahead of Lamb.
I have
you
Lamb
do
over
not.
Waddle.
Yeah, explain yourself, dude.
Look, it's CeeDee Lamb, baby. Let's go. He's the number 1 target in there. I know that Waddle and Hill are doing something amazing. They're both top 5 fantasy wide receivers this year. Shout out to Tua. Tua's playing great. I was wrong. I was a doubter. I'll have to say it every week this week that shout out to Tua. He's playing amazing. But I'm not going to lie. There's a little bias here. I'm a big CeeDee Lamb fan. That's my dude. But also, I do think there is something to be said being clearly the number 1 target and sharing. Yes, Waddle and Tyreek are having amazing years, but how often are they both going off? I mean, not every single game, right? So I just think it's going to be more of a narrow target tree for the Dallas Cowboys. So that's why I got Lamb higher.
Fair enough. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Lamb's good. And again, we're still in that discussion, top 10, where it's like, does it matter? Does it not? It's all preference.
But I mean,
right?
I think me having Lamb at 3 is a significant thing as opposed to like Waddle at 8. And where you have this isn't lined up 5. Exactly. Yeah, you have Waddle at 5 and Lamb at 7, right? Or no, at 8.
Yeah, 8.
Oh, so
it's not too much of a discrepancy. Not too much.
Yeah.
Let's look towards the bottom. And this is kind of something that I always think most people are kind of gravitating towards or focusing, because these are the guy that you kind of have questions about, right? Like, are you starting Chris Olave this week? Are you starting Treylon Burks? You're starting Chris Olave. You're starting Treylon Burks. There are rankings right there. I don't have Chris Olave or Treylon Burks in my top 30. I preferred guys over like Courtland Sutton and Alan Lazard just a little bit more. Clearly, I have Christian Watson, who's my dark horse this week. And you don't have any Christian Watson love at all. So, yeah, there's conversations to be had down here.
So I think also that plays into this. I did not rank Jamar Chase. I didn't rank Juju Smith-Schuster.
I did not either.
And I didn't rank Mike Williams.
And Mike Williams just recently updated. He did not practice today. And, yeah, we get those updates a little late. But you know what? We're following it in real time. Sorry, my Twitter isn't as fast as yours. But, yeah, back to those rankings. I'm looking here. Let's see, like, what's your love for Courtland Sutton this week? They go against Carolina. Jerry Jeudy's likely not going to play. I mean, you have him at 26. I have him at 30. So we both have him there. But clearly there's a slew of other guys. It's kind of like,
just how can you not perform in this spot? But look,
I started looking at your rankings. I don't even have.
I started Russell Wilson in the league last week. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I said, hey, pick up Russell Wilson. He has a nice schedule at the end of the year. No, I'm done. I'm done this year. I'm going to be buying back in next year, though. Watch.
Yeah, that's fair. It happens. It's a tidal wave of emotions with fantasy.
Absolutely, yeah.
But no, speaking specifically of Courtland Sutton, I have him at 30. You have him at 26.
Judy might miss the game, so that's for me is the biggest factor.
Sure, big factor, and I'm actually saying this in favor of you because I have him in my top 30. You have him a little bit higher, but I like Joshua Palmer more. I like George Pickens, Chris Olave, and Treylon Burks more, and I don't even have Chris Olave or Treylon Burks ranked, so I have to go back and readjust some of my rankings to make it kind of, retroactive. I think Courtland Sutton can easily find himself outside of my top 30 this week. But yeah, notable other discussions. You got Chris Godwin, the Goblin, 21. I have him notably higher.
Yes, I do.
Coming off the bye in a plus matchup, I think that there's points to be had. I think that Chris Godwin has done fine job, especially because of this narrative that he hasn't been healthy all year. But he's
getting insane amount of targets.
He's getting an insane amount of targets
a game.
And sure, he may not be wide receiver 15 on the year or something like that. I think he's wide receiver 16 or 17. But that's a wide receiver too. So in terms of production, I have him in multiple places. He's been doing just fine for me, and I think my rankings reflect that. Whereas you have him kind of in the borderline 2, kind of tie it top end 3. We both have Mike Evans higher than him. I have him at 14.
Yeah, I mean, that's for me is where I can rank Waddle and Hill close together and pretty high. I can't really do the same with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I think it's one of them. It's not both. It's not going to be both of them. It's going to be one or the other. And I tend to always lead the Mike Evans sides for the touchdown upside.
Touchdown upside is a big thing. It's also the hardest thing to predict. But no, it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't dislike it. Well, I mean, wide receiver rankings, we've kind of let you into the world, right? We're not doing too much.
We'll have that cleaned up a little bit more. We'll have like a better presentation of it in the future for sure.
There's a first time for everything, okay? And we just kind of wanted to show you our messy minds and what it looks like. Most notably here, let's take a look at our running back rankings this week. Now, Jacob, you get to pick apart mine, okay? So feel free as we kind of look at them as he now tries to fix them in real time, but it's fine. He just needs to learn to just take a deep breath and everything's going to be okay. Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry at the top, CMC. I would have had him naturally higher, but again, I'm not picky with these guys at the top. Let's go ahead and scroll down.
So just so everyone knows, these are just Gabe's rankings this week. We're planning the show notes a little last minute. I didn't get a chance to do my running back rankings, but we will pick apart yours.
It's not that you didn't get to do them. It's just you're a busy guy. You got a lot of fancy questions to answer, and the chat was popping before. We can lie to these people, dude. They don't have to know everything about our lives. That wasn't muted. It's fine. We're going to deal with it as we come. Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker find themselves in the top 10 for me this week. Travis Etienne as well. Nick Chubb, that 14 for 19 last week, worried me a little bit, and he takes on an even tougher defense this week in Tampa Bay. So that's kind of the reason why he kind of falls nod. And also he's been so TD dependent. We've seen what happens now when he doesn't get those TDs. He ends up with a horrible fantasy day. But obviously I don't think he's going to have a bad game as he did last week, but still noticeable downgrade for him. Also, I have Ramondre Stevenson in a noticeable downgrade just because I like Dalvin Cook's matchup this week against a tough New England defense. I think he's going to get a little bit more work, though. So kind of like that. Jeff Wilson, I like him this week. Tony Pollard, what do you do? You're starting him now, right?
Absolutely.
Like he's a must start every week.
There's no question.
He finds himself in a running back 2 category for me, which is sad because I have Ezekiel Elliott much farther down. I think I have him towards 30 or 27, 29.
Yep.
I might kind of move that, but it's just so weird. 2 weeks ago, I had them almost so close together, and they were right around the 18-19 range. And now we've just seen a complete kind of takeover from Tony Pollard.
I love it. I've been saying this for years. I mean, I'm not the only one, but I've been super high on Pollard for years, and I'm so glad to see it coming to fruition.
Yeah,
so
it's
glad.
Weird. It's just weird, man. Since the show has started, we kind of haven't seen that natural workhorse running back that's faded into darkness.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of thought it was going to be Derrick Henry this year, maybe, but Zeke, he's kind of like that first guy in the era of first round fantasy that has went from fantasy stardom to really you're kind of done. And sure, yes, Melvin Gordon but Zeke was
when we started,
Zeke was a top
5 running back,
top 3 running back,
Yeah.
and now he's just kind of come down to what he is. But it's set, it's set. But anyways, it leaves emergence for other guys, most notably towards the bottom as we look here. Isaiah Pacheco, running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, take on the Los Angeles Rams. Injury riddled. That defense, I don't know, dude. It's just like the Los Angeles Dodgers, and no shade here, but. Sure, they got a Super Bowl last year. It's just another thing to show. You can put as much money as you want into something. You still need good coaches. You need good teamwork. And they're playing horrible this year. That defense is great on paper, horrible in natural respect. And I just like what the Chiefs do with the ball, and I like that Isaiah Pacheco's getting the workload. So I like him.
Speak for yourself. I say yes, shade towards the Dodgers and the Rams. Get them out of here.
Get him out of here. Latavius Murray finds himself as the lead in Denver. He's certainly a kick up. I might actually move him up a little bit more this week. Rachaad White, interesting discussion to have. Gio's in the house. He can kind of give us some thoughts.
Well,
especially because
Leonard Fournette might not play this week.
He was a limited participant in practice today, so we'll have to follow him throughout the rest of the week.
How much? All right. Let me ask you this: if Leonard Fournette gets ruled out, how does Rachaad White move up your board?
Does he move up my board? Currently 25. Obviously, I have Leonard Fournette right in front of him right now. I think if he's ruled out and Rachaad White does play, I think I can see a situation where he jumps Miles Sanders, Antonio Gibson, David Montgomery, probably Jamal Williams because you're banking on the touchdown upside. So he falls into that running back 2019
so
category.
Not insane. He doesn't jump to top 10.
No, because I don't know. there's just so many.
This will be the
factors at
first
play.
time we
Also,
ever see him as the starter, so who knows?
Sure, and Giovanni Bernard just activated off of IR. He's practicing this week. What does he do as the Bucks look to make their end season push here? So there's just a few factors. I'd rather see him do it. Like we saw him do it last week after Fournette went out. Can he put it together again? That's kind of what I want to see. So he's clearly made the top 30. If Fournette's rolled out, I think he's a surefire running back too. But I'm not like lighting the world on fire saying he's going to finish in like an RB1 range. Like I wouldn't go that far. But he's going to get the volume. He's going to get the workload to put up running back 2 numbers. So for that,
absolutely.
I like him this week.
So I will say, Gabe, I like your list. Nothing crazy, but obviously, for me, I'll tell you who my RB1 is this week.
Oh,
and that is Kenneth Walker of the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, no.
How did I go from hating the Seahawks years ago? Now I don't really mind them. I like these Geno. We talked about it before. These Geno Smith Seahawks. I kind of like them.
It's a new era.
But Kenneth Walker, again, playing against your Las Vegas Raiders, he's going to run like a madman this week. And I think he's going to be the RB1 on. So I would have Kenneth Walker even ranked above Austin Eckler.
Not only that, and I want to look it up before I say it, but he's getting passing down more too. It's like those guys are valuable. They're very, very valuable. And I know I don't want to say that because, producer Gio's in the house and he just made a trade with me to where I attained a Kenneth Walker and I gave up Stephon Diggs. So it was a pretty fair trade.
You also inherited a bye week in doing that trade.
Sure.
You traded the Bills already had their bye week, right? So you traded away someone who doesn't have a bye week left.
Diggs already went through their bye.
So I'm saying, and you had to ride without him.
Which I lost.
Yeah. So
I lost this week. No, I won. I won him.
So,
I won. I guess
it
it worked out. But what I like for Kenneth Walker is the targets too. What I like for Kenneth Walker,
finger gesture. I'm not going to say which one.
I like the targets as well. 4 targets 2 weeks ago, 8 targets last week. That related to 6 catches here for 55 yards. So PPR leagues, he's doing just fine as well. You hope to see that continue. And I have it ranked, I would believe, pretty accurately here. He finds himself as the running back 5 for me this week, just under Josh Jacobs, which honestly, looking at it in real time, come on, guys, I'm an impulsive man. You should know this by now. I would flip those two. I think I like Kenneth Walker more than Josh Jacobs this week. Seattle's defense is a little stingier than first thought. However, they are susceptible. So Kenneth Walker leapfrogs over Josh Jacobs. He's a top 5 running back this week. I like that.
Let me ask you something. Do you have any shares of Josh Jacobs this year?
You know what's funny is not only do I have a signed Josh Jacobs jersey and a signed Josh Jacobs. When our podcast first started, in my little setup, I had both of those things.
Nice.
Well, you don't remember, so whatever. But no, I don't have any shares of Josh Jacobs. I've never had shares.
I was going to ask, how is it to like – I mean, I know he had a great rookie season, and then since then it's been up and down until this year, and he's clearly like – a surefire RB1. I was like, how does it feel like your boy is killing it this year?
Well,
but you haven't had any. You don't
I
have,
don't have any shares of them. But I will say it like this, and we'll move on because we got to get done with these running back rankings so we can get into our DFS talks. But the one thing I will say is, it sucks to be a running back because he didn't get re-upped for his what is it in terms of contract? What's the official language? Like they didn't pick up his last year.
Yeah.
So clearly he's going to be a free agent. Does that mean they sign him again? Sure.
They declined his 5th-year option.
And now they're literally doing what they could have been doing this entire time. But because it's almost like they have no use for him, he's just going to be gone.
And then they would have had him.
They're giving him 30 carries a game now.
Now he gets to go sign with whoever he wants.
Sure. But that's what I feel like if I went into the NFL, which you're never going to see me in the NFL, like I would hate to be a running back. They get treated like absolute dog doo-doo, bro. And now they have no use for him. They're going to run him into the ground.
Other positional players, yeah.
And he's going to go. He's going to be in a committee next year or something. Maybe he stays with the Raiders, and that'll be great.
I would say,
but it's just
if you grew up and it was your dream to go to the NFL, and you played 4 productive years as a starting running back of a team, and make millions of dollars.
No, but this is the rookie contract.
Living the dream.
As a running back, you are successful, considered successful running back if you make it to the second
Look,
contract.
I'm pro running back. I think that running backs are severely underpaid.
Sure. Henderson, Cam Akers, there's a bound
Look at
full
these
of other
offenses
guys.
like Derrick Henry, like the Saints, that where the team literally the heartbeat and pulse of the team is the running back. They would not be competitive without their running backs, and so they need to be treated as such. I agree, but it's just I think it's great to see Josh Jacobs having this type of success. That's it.
Fair enough. Well, hey, look, it was beautiful. It was a little rough, but there you have it. Our running backs and wide receiver rankings for week 12 of the fantasy football season. We're going to try to fine tune those things as we go forward, but it's week 12 and we're in person. And we just want to do something a little different. Star Drew says Giants and Cowboys game is a really tough game. So good to watch tomorrow. That's right. There's 3 football games tomorrow.
Love it. One right in the morning at 9:30 a.m.
Is that
Love
true?
it.
Oh,
Yes.
That's right. I get so used to the London games, but now those are done. Thanks for rankings, guys, Jacob and Gabe. Yes, dude. Thank you. We want to show you every week. It's a new thing. I think it's a new thing. We're going to fine tune it a little bit, but it's a new thing. He also says, here's a shout out right here. Starger says Browns and Bucks 27-24 game.
There we go. That's what we were looking for. Oh, we got a maybe at the end though.
Yeah. Is that who are you taking? Browns or Bucks? I think I'd take the Bucks. And I think I'd call for I'd probably go 24-21 Bucks.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
Starger. And then look, I can almost assure it, dude. Almost assured. They're gonna play like 1 p.m. Eastern next week. As soon as that game ends, I'm going to get a comment from Stardew. And it's going to be like, man, you should have went with me because I am always wrong and Stardew's always right.
I hope you're spot on, Stardew. Hope so.
All right. We're pushing time, but we're having a good time. But we also know that we got to be mindful of time. Let's touch on these DFS plays really quick. Jacob and I, for our 500 subscribers, we're throwing all the money on the line, $2,000 to go against each other in a head-to-head. Just kidding.
No.
It's not. But we are going head-to-head in a DFS play this week. We're going to reveal our lineups to each other now.
Yeah.
Even though technically you can't do it on FanDuel. Shout out to FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing it now. But, all right, here's the rule. Unless there's an injury, once we reveal the lineups to each other on the show, we can't change them unless there's an injury.
Salty. Let's do it. Lock it in.
Because then, that wouldn't make sense. Yeah. Okay.
Fine. Well, then I guess, do I just tell them? So we're using FanDuel as the platform.
Okay, should I bring mine up first?
You can bring yours up, and then I guess I'll share mine. Let's do that. Let's reveal them. And we're seeing these in real time. As you know, when you play on FanDuel, you don't technically get to see your opponent's lineup anyways until the games are locked and started. So we're showing them to you right now. Jacob, is that your lineup?
We're only doing a Thanksgiving day one, so it's only tomorrow's game. So 3 games, which limited the options, but I'm very curious to see how this works.
Let's run down these games really quick though. It's Buffalo at Detroit.
Yes.
It's Dallas at New York, and then what's that third game? I don't know.
The Patriots at Minnesota.
Patriots at
New England at Minnesota.
Perfect. Those are the 3 games. Jacob,
Okay, so
talk us through your lineup.
This is, I've been playing DFS for a couple of years now. Like I kind of just been playing it like just by myself, entering contests. But this year I play in a league with our buddy Shaw. He runs a league, and I've won twice in that so far. So
good for you.
Shout out to me. But so the way I approach DFS, and if any of them ever watch this, which maybe they don't, but they'll see my secrets. I want to put as many big dogs into my lineup as I possibly can, and then I build the lineup around that. I find bargain plays around those players. So, look, there's not that many QB options, right? Because and Josh Allen was, when I set my lineup, and it's too late now, Josh Allen was questionable, and now he's not. So I didn't choose Josh Allen. I went with Dak Prescott. But that gave me a little bit more of a budget. I said, I want CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson in my lineup. So if you see, my quarterback is Dak Prescott. I have Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Darius Slayton, Jacoby Myers, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson at tight end. I had to get a bargain there. And I have
see my bargain.
Justin Jefferson in my flex. And I'm starting the Detroit Lions. Look, if I was choosing the best defense for this lineup, I would not choose the Detroit Lions. But I have no choice. The way my lineup worked out, they were the only defense that I could fit into my lineup. So my point being is that I do this a lot. I choose hey, I want Jefferson and Lamb in, and then I fit whoever I can afford into the other slots. So here's my lineup.
Clearly, we're going to have to see if this methodology that you use works out because it's good. You got Jefferson, you got Lamb. your team around him. I think my team is better, but what I will say, what I will say is, your running backs are much better than mine.
Oh, is that where you went cheap?
Oh, I went very cheap.
All right,
so you have Ramondre Swift. Are you nervous about him at all, though? Do you think he gets
of course I am.
Like Tony Pollard's a surefire play.
Since I set this lineup, I've become less confident in DeAndre Swift, but I'm riding with it now. It's too late. We said once we reveal, we can't change. And I'm thinking if they're down, they're going to have to use him in the passing game if they allow him to. So that's what I'm hoping for. Tony Pollard, very affordable because they're still accounting for Zeke. I think Jacoby Myers has a great matchup.
Under the radar play.
I think Darius Slayton, with all the injuries there,
sure,
I think he has potential for blow up. And obviously Jefferson and Lamb. And then look, hey, if Jake Ferguson gets one touchdown, I'm loving life tomorrow. So that's my lineup. Again, Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, Darius Slayton, Jacoby Myers, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, Justin Jefferson, and the Detroit Lions, who might get destroyed by the Buffalo Bills. But hey, Aiden Hutchinson has been balling lately, so maybe I get some points from him.
Fair enough. Yeah. Jacob, I like it, but this is why we're competing. This is why we're kind of going all in on each other. So I'll take an opportunity to go ahead and share my DFS lineup play this week. Let's get my screen up here. I'm going. Jacob, how are you liking the live? Oh,
I love it.
It's good. I'm glad. I don't know if I want to do this.
The energy is real.
It's making me nervous. Let's get to some comments really quick from Star Drew. He says, I would have chose the Vikings defense maybe.
Well, I couldn't have, but so the defense was the last thing I had, and I literally had barely enough money to get the defense. Yeah.
Lions on a budget, it's always okay. Nah, Swift is good. Yeah, Swift is good, but is he getting the usage? Let's welcome in Gabriel's lineup. Let's bring them into the chat. I'm going to add that to the stream really quick. I took a different approach.
Oh, you got Josh Allen, and I'm screwed.
Josh Allen, I am starting him this week.
James Cook, not looking bad.
So, look what I did with my running backs here. You overloaded on wide receivers, as did I. Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
And you still have Josh Allen in.
And I still have Josh Allen. So where did I kind of suffer? Running backs and tight end.
Okay, we both went bargain bin on tight end.
Look, where I think let's break it down. I like Josh Allen this week. I think this is a huge bounce back game for him. He's had the injury over the last couple of weeks. You went with Dak Prescott against a pretty stingy New York Giants defense at home, and they already got burned once.
But the difference between the cost of Josh Allen and Dak Prescott is huge, so I don't mind.
And I understand that how that kind of affects your decision making. I still think Josh Allen is due for a bounce back game against a really susceptible Detroit defense. Running backs. Look, Justin Jackson is not a good play. I don't think James Cook is a good play.
He could outproduce DeAndre Swift.
James Cook had a good game last week. I don't know if that necessarily carries over. It's clearly fluke play on my part. Same thing with Justin Jackson. He saw like 4 or 5 carries over the last couple of weeks. It's been consistent, but for a while he was seeing more carries than DeAndre Swift. I don't know if that's going to happen this week. But where I really like the juicy part of my lineup is Diggs, Jefferson, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I went heavy with my wide receivers. Flex plays, also a concern. I don't even know who this guy is. Something Hudson. The only reason why I went with this play is because at the time when I did it, the New York Giants actual tight end, Bellinger, who's been pretty solid. I mean, he's not really on the fantasy radar, but he's had a few touchdowns this year. He's trending towards not playing. So I thought in his absence last week, this Hudson guy, I like how I say that, we just don't know who he is. 3 for 31 last week. Okay, so there's some points to be had there.
So it's the Jake Ferguson and T. Hudson showdown, right?
Kendrick Bourne, doesn't necessarily look good on paper or just in DFS legitimately, but I wanted to go all in on these cream of the crop players, knowing that they have the potential and the ceiling to just blow any other guy out of the water.
Looking a lot better than mine.
And last but not least, I feel really confident in the Dallas Cowboys defense. They lead the league in sacks. You get points for that. They lead the league in turnovers. They don't lead the league in turnovers. Stop. Regardless, they're a good play. and I like them. So yes, the pluses of my team: wide receivers, defense, quarterback. The negatives: I got some no-name flexes, and I got a couple questionable wide receiver running
You know
backs.
what? I just realized I kind of want to beat you in this more than I want to win any of my fantasy matchups.
It's the start of a beautiful tradition.
Let's go.
We need to come up with some bets in real time, though.
I mean, we did actually put money up for this, but
we
we literally gave
$1,
away.
baby.
We put $1.
We gave away. We lost money in starting this contest.
Hey, no, one of us gets the money. One of us gets like $1.80 if we win.
Sure, but we lost 20 cents, and we could have just done it. Could you do free contest?
You can't. Actually.
Okay, well then FanDuel will fix it, okay? Because I don't understand sites that make you pay money when everybody always pays.
It's $1.
Regardless, there you have it. In the future, we're going to build DFS lineups together as well. We think that's pretty fun to do, and also have you, the viewers, kind of jump in, help us out. But we're running out of time. It was a fun time nonetheless. Time flies when you're having fun. Jacob, it was our first in-person show ever. We got a lot of content. We got rankings for the first time. We got to look at those. We did dark horses as usual. We got amazing comments from Star Drew in the chat. Obviously, you know, it's a little earlier than usual, so our regular crew hasn't woken up yet and rose in, but they'll see it eventually. And they also got to see our DFS plays for the week, which are all new things that we are doing because we're constantly listening to you guys. Thanks for voting on that poll. Thanks for allowing us and challenging us to do different things. We hope to do this again in the future. I had a good time. Jacob?
Yes, absolutely.
Producer Gio.
Thank you for hosting us, man.
Thank you for hosting us,
Couldn't have done
Producer
this without you,
Gio.
literally.
It's amazing. And 500 more is certainly attainable. We're here for the ride. We can't wait to do it.
In the next 3 years.
And we also got a comment here towards the end. Y'all killing it.
Oh, thank you.
Sam.
A new viewer, maybe.
Please. I've never seen him before.
No, yeah.
Could he be the 503? We don't beg for subscribers. Sam, if you're here before we get out of here today, let us know what you got to say, man, because we work for subscribes. We work for likes. It's what we do. Also, I got to flex Perrine or Swift. Oh, my gosh. If Mixon is playing, clearly you're starting Swift. Well, if
Mixon
Swift is not playing, I think you go P. Ryan here.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, hey, if Mixon's not playing.
If Mixon's sitting, you start Samaje P. Ryan.
Over Swift.
100%.
Let's do it.
100%.
I'm totally down for that. I think that's fine.
But if Mixon plays, then I don't know. I can't answer that.
No, if Mixon plays,
start Swift.
You start Swift.
I guess
you start Swift.
Good luck.
Yeah, you start Swift, man, without a doubt. Let's see what else he's got to say. Oh, it's just S. Nagra in disguise.
Oh, nice. Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. We're glad to have you. We're glad to have you.
You know what? We're still gonna give him one of these, just like normal, just like it's a new viewer.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's you.
Yeah,
you do that. I do this. I do this. But hey, man, thanks for coming out. We're actually just getting out of here. So again, as always, feel free to find us on First Round Fantasy at Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at First Round Fantasy. You can find us here where you're looking at our beautiful faces in person live for the first time ever on YouTube at First Round Fantasy. You can also find us anywhere you listen to your podcast, most notably Spotify or Apple Premium. Guys, we appreciate you so much. Thanks for coming out today. Thanks for those of you who continue to watch this later on, even after it streams. There's just not a lot to say. We're appreciative. 500 subscribers is a big deal. We're at 501 right now.
Yes, Star Drew Sunday morning tailgate. Keep an eye out for it.
We won't be live. We won't be live like this, but we will be
not
there.
In person, but yeah.
We can't do it all the time.
But we'll be on virtual.
We'll be on virtual. Yeah. We're virtual now, actually. That doesn't make sense. We're coming to your home, Star Drew, in Canada, live. We're gonna make it happen. But to everyone out there, we are ending the show right now, and we always end the show with a hot take. Do you want to do the inaugural live stream hot take? Wow. I haven't thought of one. That's why I'm trying to buy time here.
Ever since I chose Tyrion Davis Price.
No, don't be banned.
Are you removing my ban?
I'm removing your ban, dude. That's why they're hot takes, bro.
Hot takes. Well, my hot take, Kenneth Walker being number 1 this week is not a hot take.
It's you should have actually went with that because I had him at 6. I think that would have been fine.
And now I can't.
Now you can't because you already said it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on. Here we go. I got a hot take for you.
Go.
Mike White filling in for Zach Wilson, quarterback of the New York Jets. He is going to deliver on a top 10 fantasy performance this week at the QB position. You heard it here first. You heard it here last. You're not going to hear it anywhere else. Thanks for tuning in to First Round Fantasy, your first choice for second round content. Have a great Thanksgiving or a happy holiday, Kwanzaa, whatever you do out there. And we'll see you next time. Peace.